Happy? All right. I think we're on. He's live now. All right. So here we are. I'm Andrew Triggs-Hodge. I am the CEO of Regatta London, and this is
Kate Lansdowne, Senior Event Manager at Limelight Sports, who are delivering the Regatta London event.
So we're here today to talk you through what's behind Regatta London. We've been working for a number of years, actually, trying to put this event together. And we had our first sort of public awareness of it through the Request for Information, our RFI website, which went live a month ago. And it's been great to see the response coming back. There's been some great questions coming out of that, but also a lot of people signing up, which makes us super excited about what we're trying to do. And we think we've got something special here. So today we're going to talk through a little bit of background, a little bit about what we're trying to achieve, and then hopefully you'll have a load of questions and we can answer that as they roll in. So first of all, this event is all about a clean river. The Regatta London kind of came out of the Tideway project, and it's going to help communicate that there is a big tunnel under the river doing a great job for the river. It's going to take millions of tons of sewage out of the river and create this new field of play. We have a unique opportunity to help realize that dream. And you guys have a great opportunity right now to help us shape that before everything goes live very, very soon. So what are we trying to do? First of all, we need an event. We need to have a look at how mass participation works. We want to do something which connects a lot of people. So we're looking at using three great sports: rowing, which is a little bit of my background, kayak canoeing, and stand-up paddleboarding, which is a sport which I've grown to get a lot more experience with recently and grown to love. So we have three great communities to bring together on what is a iconic bit of water. We have it's a challenging bit of water. You know, normally it's a fast-flowing tidal river with lots of obstacles, fast boats, launches, ferries, freight. But we're working really hard to put it on a day when it's safe, when recreational boats can take over, and when we can put this event on in all its glory. So do you want to talk a bit about the river closure?
Yeah, can do. So on the 29th of September, the Thames Barrier gets closed by the Environmental Agency, and that's something that's scheduled in on an annual basis. And gratefully for us, that means it creates basically a non-tidal river that allows us to put on an event as such. So we're working very closely with the Environment Agency to be able to use this body of water on a day when there will be no tidal flow. We're also working very closely with the Port of London Authority, and we will be implementing a river closure, working very closely with the river operators to ensure that there'll be a safe environment for vessels to take part on the river for the event, and then reopening the river when the vessels have passed.
So obviously, you might not know, but the tidal river in the middle of London is a really busy stretch of water. There are some incredible organisations who operate the transport system and the cruises around the river, and they've been absolutely fantastic in how much support we've been getting from them. And we're really looking forward to running this event with them, and that they'll be the ringside seats to this event. So we've got a great opportunity to bring a new life, a new option to those communities. But what that means, though, is we're going to have a field of play, which is probably one of the most iconic river events in the world. We're looking at a start line in the west around Putney, Hammersmith area, and a finish line over in Greenwich. So what does that mean? That means around 12 miles for starters, with pretty much slack water. It means you'll be paddling past 3 World Heritage Sites. It means you'll be going through Tower Bridge, right beneath the London Eye, right past the Houses of Parliament. We ran a test event last year with a couple of rowing boats and some standard paddleboards, and it was amazing to see the response from the athletes who got that chance. They were gobsmacked by what they'd just done. So we know that this is going to create an experience that you're never going to forget. We're really excited to bring that to you. Another big thing that we're really excited about is actually the opportunity to bring fundraising to paddle sport. So we know in running events, they've had it for a lot of years, where that fundraising side is a big part of not just doing the challenge, but bringing more energy into the event, doing so much good for so many charities, and linking that with that challenge part. We've seen what it's done for running. We've seen what it's done for the sports and the environment and all the companies around that. It's really sort of helped it to grow and expand. And I think for paddle sports, we can follow what cycling did 10, 15 years ago, and we can see the impact that that's had. And actually, why not? You know, linking charities to our event, enabling people to fundraise hundreds of thousands for some great charities, whether that's local charities on the Riverside here in London, national charities. You got it. It's an incredible opportunity, and to really sort of make that statement through the middle of London gives us something really to shout about. So we're really excited about that. We're also looking at, obviously, we've got a great new opportunity to run an event from the start, from a clean sheet. So while sort of timings, everyone will get a time, an A to B time, so start to finish time. But we're looking at a few inventive ways of running this event. So we're even looking at sort of ideas about sprint sections and other options, but that's much more detail later to come. One of the big things about this event is health and safety. Again, we're working with Limelight Sport. We're working with international experts in their field around health and safety. Again, it's our absolute intent to make sure this event is the safest run event that you'll ever experience. We can do that only because we're growing the sport to a level where we can afford to do that. So again, this event will open new doors, open a new level of delivery for large events. The expertise that Limelight are bringing to the table, again, working within paddle sport for the first time, is going to open up some incredible opportunities. So again, really excited by that. So I think we've got a few questions rolling in, so just let me break for a minute to have a look at what those are. Right, so first question from Benji Button. What types of boats can take part? So obviously standard paddleboarding. Everyone has their either blow-up boards or rigid boards. We're looking at 2 classes, open 14-foot and inflatable 12-foot. Kayaks, so we're looking for race classes of being K1s, K2s, C2s and K4s, but then we will also accept other classes from sea kayaks, open canoes as a tandem, and sit-on tops. And then also for rowing, we're looking at 8s. So the main thing about the 8s is every boat has to have a cox. And we figured that actually 8s is just the way to go. It standardizes the whole lot. So I think the bottom line is safety. The bottom line is actually making sure everyone can do this course. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people tuning in today will know 12 miles is not a short course. It is a long way. Everyone that enter, we expect them to approach it just like you would a marathon. You know, you've got to train. A lot of people will be club rowers. They'll do the training already. That's fantastic. Anyone who's coming into this who's not part of that regular training program, maybe you're on your own with your own kayak, etc. If you're interested to do this, and we hope you are, consider a training program. Consider making sure you're, when you arrive on the day, that you're fully fit, you're well prepared, you've listened and you've got all your safety equipment, or the right clothing for the day, all that sort of stuff. I know you'll do this regularly anyway, but make sure that training is in place. Make sure you're fit, ready to go for 12 miles, and make sure you nail it. It's all about getting to the finish line in a really good state and taking on that challenge. Can we bend the rules? Okay, so the first question is actually, can we have a 50-50 mixed crew? Well, actually, that absolutely yes. And we decided a while ago that for the larger boats, certainly in rowing, that the first crew any club can enter has to be a 50-50 mixed crew. Again, like, we're stoked to be in this position to kind of redefine sport a little bit, the paddle sport, give a new life to it and do things for different reasons. So yeah, so we stipulated, or we plan to stipulate, that the first boat any club can enter has to be 50-50. Then the next boat can be male or female, and then the third boat they can enter is the opposite gender. So anything after that, you can enter as a fundraising crew. But if you want to go for it, then your 50-50 crew is your first point of call. That's how we ran our test event last year. So we had 5 awesome clubs from West London, and they all entered their top 50-50 crews. And again, I think that's kind of one of the first times that's been done for a relatively serious event, and it went down really well. So yeah, absolutely, 50-50 crews, full on. Where's next? When will clubs be able to register for entry? So when will we open entry? Well, imminently. So the best thing you can do is, this webinar is our last stage of sort of fact finding and getting that information, feeling like we're confident on certain positions. So we'll be incorporating everything that comes from this webinar into our plans, making sure it's robust and watertight. And then we'll open those entries imminently, like we're talking soon. The best way to get the information out when those entries go out is to get onto the RFI and register your email. You'll then be the first to know about when that entry system goes live. So the RFI website is regatta.london, www.regatta.london. Sign up on that form you'll see on that page. Then we'll have your details, and then we'll email you straight away exactly when those go live. And as far as cost goes, so for an 8, rowing 8, we're looking at £558, including that, for a boat. So that breaks down to 62 quid, £62 per person, including a cox. We know that that's the top end bracket for rowing events, but as I'm sure you understand, to make this event work on the ground, to get it going on this location, it's not going to be cheap. We've got an incredible health and safety team. We've got a lot going on around the event, and we're trying to position this event within the field of events which take on that higher level of participation. We're really going for it, like the Royal Parks halves and those sorts of events where, you know, everyone gets the medal, everyone gets that experience that they can come away with. And yeah, they might not have won, but it's not about that. It's actually doing something that you definitely couldn't do otherwise. Getting that experience of saying you paddle in front of the Houses of Parliament. So we appreciate it's on the top end, but trust me, when you get to the finish line, it'll be worth it. For the K1s and K2, for the K1s, we're looking at 60 quid per seat. For the K2s, K4s, it's £96. For a K2, C2, £96, and for a K4, 168, and for a standard paddleboard, £60. So again, looking at what we're aiming to put paddle sport into, the type of events we're looking at, this is actually really standard. You know, most triathlons we're looking between £80 and £100. Big cycling events, those mass participation events, you're looking at 70. and the sort of challenge events that happen from time to time, again, 80 to 100 pounds. So we feel that it's on the lower end of those, but it's what we deliver on the day, and it's what you're going to go home feeling like you've just been part of. That's going to make that really special. So so that's where our starting point is. Again, all those details will be on the sign up page, and that'll be with you soon. So any more questions?
There's a couple of questions on the start process and difference between the rowing boats versus the kayak canoes and the SUPs. So what we'll be doing is operating the start process where it's fast to slow boats. So starting from the rowing eights going off first, and then kayak canoes with stand-up paddleboarders behind. So when you sign up, it'll be very clear on start times and locations, and that's how it'll operate going along the river from the rowing eights setting off first. Fundraisers, just a question on, are we expected to complete in a certain time? I think it's going back to what Andy said about this isn't, you know, an entry event. This is someone that's trained and is competent. So there will be certain cut-offs in terms of where you need to be at certain points on the river, which will be communicated to you. And that's for us to make sure that we can reopen the river in time for the operators to continue their usual Sunday operations. So that will all be on the website for you.
Yeah, I mean, look, the message about this is, you know, when you see the thousands of people who enter marathons, half marathons, whatever they are, you know, even the challenge events, they'll put a lot of time and effort into training. I think for all the people who are inspired to do an event like this, for a corporate, as a fundraiser, for charities on their own back, we want to be a step change for our sport, for our culture of sport, to enable people to get into our sport for different reasons than the competitive. You know, certainly speaking as a rower, where the competition side is such a strong part, we want to open that door to someone who's outside of that getting into the sport. So if you don't know where the clubs are, if you don't know how to get in but you'd like to, then we will definitely help you to connect you with those organizations which rent boards, give you advice, give you a sort of a level of training opportunity to make sure that you're fitter and stronger than you would have been. And then when you come to the event, you can feel well prepared, ready to commit, and you can have a really great experience. But, you know, in the same way, you wouldn't turn up to the marathon without doing any training. It's the same here.
Similar, so question from Sam Young, just can I take part if I only have limited kayak experience? I'm happy to put in the training. I think that's a similar answer. It's just making sure that you know, you have put in the training to take part in this challenge event, and like Andy said, treat it as, you know, training for a marathon and taking part in a marathon.
One other thing, we'll definitely have guidance on training. We'll have a basic information pack that'll help you get up to a good level of fitness, but that's all to come when we go live. How are we going? Any more?
I think there was a question on rental boats. Question's actually gone, so I don't know if you can get it for us. It came through, but it's gone from the feed. So it's just whether there'll be an option to rent different boats or vessels.
Which, yeah, I mean, look, we're looking to work with people who want to do a great event, but also with people and organisations who want to give opportunities to get people into the sport. So I'd love it for Regatta London to be right in the middle of those two groups, get them linked up, get them connected, and make sure that more people have more access to this sport than before. So definitely, don't see because you don't know where to go as a barrier. Just let us know, and we're working really closely with British Rowing and British Canoeing and GB SUP, and we will make sure that those opportunities are as clear and as open as possible, and hopefully we'll get you involved in the event. Yeah, so a question about the Big Ben Challenge. Yeah, so we've the the work I've been doing with Paul Hyman of Active 360 for the last few years, this is the next evolutionary step of the Big Ben and what was also the London Crossing last year. So yes, absolutely. We're aware that last year we had to divert the Big Ben because of the weather. So I know some people are coming back to us with the position to come and do the event. That's fantastic. Yes, this event will have the Big Ben as part of it. Yeah, this is, you know, hopefully you'll be with more paddlers than before last year. So, and hopefully the weather will be better as well. It wasn't it was pretty wet last year. Oh yeah. So timings. So we're looking at an early start. We're probably looking at around 8 o'clock to start the 8s. We will be starting the fast boats first and the slower boats later. We're looking to get off crews in a sort of 9 boats a minute. So really looking at getting crews going off through town. And then as soon as they're gone, then the kayak canoes start, and then the stand-up paddleboards. So with our time plan and what we're working on, that'll give us a great few hours to get a lot of boats off through. But it will be an early start. And then obviously we're planning a whole logistics operation around how we get people's bags, etc., from the finish line, from the start line to the finish line, and how we make sure everyone's looked after, as you'd expect. And then obviously we're looking at a great finish environment. So our finish village, working with all our charities and organisations around this event, you'll be finishing to hopefully a crescendo of cheers and applause as you come off the water and into what will be a great finish festival. So early start, great experience. You'll be home back in time for tea to put your feet up and revel in your achievements for the day.
Yeah, so what we'll do is release a bit more information near the time about all the activities that we'll have in the Finish Village. But the idea is that, you know, it's a celebration of your achievements, and might be some prize givings and music and things like that. So to really create, you know, a day of it and invite your family and friends along. So we'll be releasing more information about that nearer the time for you.
And to Sean Reiner, yeah, absolutely. We'll get back in contact with you. Paul Hyman's got the details from last year, so we'll be in contact soon. So,
just seeing if any other questions have come in.
Okay. Oh, one thing. So for rowers, what we're looking to do at the moment is go through rowing clubs, and also for the clubs who are the kayak canoes who are based through clubs. Talk to your coaches or your captains. It would be best to get entries through your clubs. We can deal with it directly. If your club is on the RFI and they've put in their email, regatta.london is the website, we'll get that information out to you soon. Will you notify us that you're your club, and then we'll get that entry system open. At the moment, we're looking to make this really dead easy. So what we're asking is just if you buy your boat, buy your place, and then you can tell us who's in that crew much later. So we're aware, you know, for a September event, we're a long way from deciding who will be in crews, etc. So just get the boat now, and then in due course, much more towards August, September, we'll ask for the names in those boats, and then we'll get all the T's and C's and the legal stuff sorted then.
A couple more questions. Jack Lyons just asking if there'll be a cut-off time for slower rowers and kayakers. There will be cut-off times that will be communicated for you, but which is mainly to open the river in time for our operators to continue their business. So we'll be communicating those cut-off times down the line for you.
Yeah. No, as part of the pack that comes out when we go live, you'll get the exact information, how that will all work. But whichever way it works, whether the cutoff happens somewhere in the middle of town and you have to come back, then we'll have all the preparations and logistics around that ready and waiting. And either way, you'll still have a great experience. We're looking at a turnaround point of Westminster Bridge, just outside the House of Parliament, as the Big Ben Challenge Road paddle last year. But it's, yeah, you'll still have a smile on your face when you come back. International paddlers, we've got a question from, Trend 100. Hey guys. Yeah, absolutely. We were blown away by the French contingent who came over for the stand-up paddleboard event last year, the London Crossing. It was fantastic to have them there and totally unexpected. Look, we're an international city. We don't have boundaries, we just have aspirations. So come on board, anyone who wants to come over, absolutely, with bells and whistles. Yeah, it's all arms open on this side. So yeah, come and enjoy yourself in London. Question from Harriet North. We have a list of charities. It's a pretty big list. We have 2 headline charities at the moment. We're looking to establish our 3rd soon. Details of that to come out very, very shortly. First port of call would be to support one of the charities we have. We're definitely looking to evolve that list. So maybe next year, if you want to fundraise for a different charity, talk about that with us over the next few months, and we'll look to evolve that list and incorporate more in due course.
There's a question from Mike just around arranging a boating facility for trailers. So yes, it's an A to B event, so it's not 12 miles and we're not going to make you go back again.
It would not be that cruel.
So it's A to B, so West London going through to Greenwich in the east, and we'll be facilitating space for trailers and working out how to get things from A to B, so you don't need to worry about that.
So also we'll be looking at providing some transport to get back, whether it's well, ideally be on a boat. There'd be no better way to travel by boat to get back, but also looking at how we can make sure that if you come in a car with your boat on the roof, with your kayak or stand-up paddleboarder, how we can use the public transport. And again, this is all the information and the evidence that Limelight have been working over the last decade of running these events, and we'll be putting that best practice onto this event from the get-go. So we'll be working out those best options, but work with the team. If you've got any questions, do email us, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. The smaller rowing boat tow part. Hey Lauren, I would love for small boats to take part. We've drawn a line under non-coxed boats because of the safety impact. I completely, I know that, you know, obviously coxless rowing is fine, but for the first year event, we're just taking it right to the top level of health and safety. The bridges can be pretty tricky through town, and we think that just certainly to get the ball rolling, we're going to go cox only. We are considering cox 4s, but we'll see what the demand comes in. I think we'll try and stick to 8s if that's possible. We know most clubs have them, so it shouldn't be a barrier to entry. Like I said, it's all about mixed 8s, you know, male or female 8s. Hopefully, you've got enough colleagues to want to jump in with you at your club. Can our dogs come along? They normally canoe. George and Sarah Humphreys, that's fantastic. You know what? I would love a dog to come along with you. I suspect that might be a bit of a push for the people, well, for Limelight organising it.
Yeah, I think you know, year one we've got to make this a completely safe and successful event, and I think dogs will probably be a no for this year, but I'm not saying never. We'll think about it. I
think trying to work with athletes is probably more painful than working with dogs. I'm sure your dog's pretty better trained than most, but I'm afraid that's more than likely to be a no. But hey, I'll certainly ask the question and see what comes back. Yeah, so to book your place, you do need to buy it. Sorry, from Mike Povey again. To book your place, you need to pay for your entry fee. We are working on a relatively tight number of entries. So we obviously, as an event, we'd love to sell out sooner than later. So we do, as soon as the entries go live, do consider getting that entry sooner than later. We'd hate for anyone who's really keen and on it to miss a chance. So yes, please. So an age limit.
Question on an age limit. Minimum age will be 16 on the event day, so on the 29th of September.
I don't think we have an upper age limit.
No.
No.
I think it's more about competency and knowing yourself and your own health and making sure that you are healthy enough to take part, and it all comes down to that.
That's it.
Just laugh at the comments.
Yeah, so Phil, yeah, I hear you on that one. No cats, by the way. That was pretty much the summary of that remark.
Or other animals.
Yeah, in fact, that's a good, yeah.
Just before we get more questions about, can I bring my hamster?
Right, is there anything else? Oh, we haven't talked about it much, but my background's in environmental science, weirdly, and here I'm in events. The project that I'm working with, that's really sort of the drive behind the event, is a big environmental project. And we're working with paddlers and communities which depend on good environmental conditions, good water. It is really a really great opportunity to build this event on that premise, on that responsibility to communicate the benefits of improving environmental standards. So the environmental aspects are driven right into the bottom of this event, right to how we engage with our contractors and third parties, how it goes through our supply chain, all the way up through to delivery. So, all the items of single-use plastic, we won't have any of it. Handouts, we don't want any litter. So it's all about really demonstrating best practice in the environment, but also pushing the boundary a bit further. So, so again, I think we're onto something pretty special here. We don't have to sort of adopt it and reinvent who we are. This is an environmental event right from the beginning. Anything you've got to bring to the table that would help us do that, bring it on. Let us know. We're right at the beginning of sort of building all the nuts and bolts behind the event to make it happen. So if you can offer anything in that, let us know, and we'll make sure that come the day you'll be really proud of a really solid, large-scale environmental event. So yeah, the more you can help with that, the better.
Yeah, if you have any ideas, email them in and we'll see what we can do to make the event as environmentally friendly and sustainable as we can.
Just a comment from Mark. Yeah, look, I agree. We know how robust events are run around the world for all age levels. And I think what we need to do in our first year is to really get something on the ground that's really strong and robust. And as the years go on, we'll introduce other aspects which will hopefully enable your daughter to come along and row or paddle with us. But for now, we're going to hit the ground running with what we know is really robust, and then keep an eye out for future, and we'll see what we can do.
Question from Jack: is the water clean? I think that goes right back to what Andy said at the start. Focusing on the tideway and what the super sewer is doing for the river, cleaning it up for us. So we're working very closely with Thames Water as well, just to monitor the water quality. So
yeah. So the river is a lot cleaner than it used to be. That's 100% guaranteed. There is a small risk, but like Kate said, we're monitoring that risk all the time, and we're working with experts to make sure we're well aware of what happens. If the quality does drop too far, then that will impact the event, absolutely. But with the team, we're working on how to manage that risk, mitigate it, and make sure that you guys, you're going to be in a natural environment. It's not going to be sort of chlorinated bathwater. It is a real live environment. But it won't be dangerous to your health, that's for sure.
And you know, health and safety is a big focus for us. So there's a few things that we'll be sending out. So when you register, and in the information packs, that will have a few just on how to, you know, just health and safety being paramount. So things like, you know, don't take part if you've got any big open wounds and things, and cleaning your hands before you eat and drink and things like that.
It's all the stuff you'd normally do. Right.
Question from Hannah, just on does this mean that I need to be self-sufficient when refueling? So yes, I mean, a big part of it will be, you know, taking on board all the water that you'll need. So whether you've got those camelbacks or a bottle of water with you, and any snacks that you need to take part. So yes, essentially, you do need to be self-sufficient throughout. There will be welfare points. You know, we won't put you out there and leave you, but you know, the point is to be self-sufficient.
Yeah. Right. So I'm going to give you. Oh, we've got one more question. Sorry. How does this fit with the Great River Race? Oh, fantastic. So look, the Great River Race is a fantastic event, and we're here to support that race as much as we can. So in the short term, we're actually not going to have any fixed seat rowing boats, dragon boats, and outrigger canoes for the moment. We definitely want to make sure if anyone is interested in doing a long distance river event like this, but maybe can't commit to all the training, do something more in line with the Great River Race, then we're very happy to drive that and connect you with the Great River Race. For now, that's the way we can best support them and ourselves. So we'll move that forward. But keep an eye out in the future, and we'll see how it develops. Oh, and sorry, Angela Ward, who wants to dress up as a pirate. Yes, now you've said that, I'm going to hold you to it. I'll be watching the registration. When your number comes in, if you're not dressed as a pirate, you're not going to start, I'm afraid. That's how it's going to go.
And this is where I step in and be boring with health and safety again. But, you know, there'll be certain, you know, mandatory things that we need you to wear just to make sure that you're, you know, keeping warm or keeping cool, or depending how the weather is. But yeah, pirates will be fun to see.
With a nice rash vest or a water wetsuit underneath. Perfect. Good. All right. Well, look. I hope this has been interesting. I hope you feel inspired. Just to stress that when we go live, we're going to go straight out through our email signups on the RFI. That's the list on through the form that we'll get on the website www.regatta.london. So if you've got any further questions, pop your email in there and give us a shout. And when we go live, you'll be the first to know. So please put your details there, and we'll be in contact really soon. Like, we are planning to go live on this imminently. We're just going to get all the information we've got from today, make sure it's in the plan, make sure it's robust, and then when we go, we're off. So look, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been great to hear your questions, but we look forward to.
And if you do have any questions, the email address is info@regatta.london. So drop us an email and we'll come back to you as soon as we can.
Cool. So from Limelight, no, thank you very much, and yeah, we look to speak soon.
Thank you.
Getting that.